G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here, and welcome back to the Slot Car Review. And today it's Carrera's turn with one of their latest release cars, the BMW 320 Turbo. This thing is incredible. It is chunky. It's got an amazing looking body kit, and of course, I purchased it from METRO HOBBIES here in Melbourne, Australia. So stick around. We'll do an unboxing, we'll do a teardown, and we'll take this thing for 5 laps around my track. So welcome back to the Slot Car Review, and yes, it is Carrera's turn with the BMW 320 Turbo, and I have been hanging to do this review because I think this car is incredible, and it's a car I did not think that they'll do in slot car form, especially with this massive wide body kit. So I'm very excited to get my hands on it and to get it around my track. But of course, I did purchase this from METRO HOBBIES here in Melbourne, Australia, so please support your local where you can. It keeps this hobby going. But let's have a quick look at the car in its case. We'll do a quick tour on how you purchase it. Of course, if you are watching this video, you would most definitely have had a Carrera car in your collection, or you know exactly what they are like. So I won't spend too much time. Big crystal case, nice reflective sticker at the back that shows the car on the opposite side. This is the analog version. This is the Evolution, so non-digital car, but yes, you can fit a digital chip. Around the back, we do have a window with some goodies in there, but take a look at this. I think look at the rear spoiler, and we will take a close look, of course. So there's your packaging. Again, I won't spend too much time on the outside and of course on the inside because we do know what these cars look like. I have done a fair few Carrera reviews, but let's zoom in, have a good look at the livery itself, quick teardown, then let's get this thing around my track. So let's take a close look at Carrera's version of the BMW 320 Turbo. And to start off, I've placed it on some Evolution track just to show you how well this thing looks when it's sitting ready to go. And take a look at that side profile. Everything on this car is huge, it's wide, even from the front. It looks very, very aggressive and sits nice and low. But that side profile is absolutely epic. And then from above, you can see just how wide this car is. And of course, how strong that magnet is because it didn't fall off. Now let's zoom in, have a look at the livery itself. And we are talking about the Autohaus Schneider Car 56 BMW 320 Turbo. Let's start with the driver. We do have a flooded cockpit, but it still does have some nice detail in there. Of course, we've got half a figure. He's got a red jumpsuit with a white and black helmet, black tinted visor with a white helmet. Nice little bit of detail here. Fire extinguisher through the front windscreen, which I'll zoom in on that. We do have the steering wheel and cluster, but it is a flooded cockpit. As you can see, it's pretty much all blacked out inside with some bit of roll cage work in the rear. Let's stick to the side. We do have these nice painted black side scoops, which behind that is a black bit of grilling, which I think looks good. Really draws your eye to that part of the car, and it does show you exactly how wide it is, and it does break up the yellow. And of course, the front also has some gill cutouts. While we're talking about cutouts, take a look at this massive one at the rear, which yes, that is definitely cut out. It's huge. And of course, what takes pride of place is this overhang of the rear spoiler. Let's quickly talk rims. It looks like some BBS mesh style rims. They're not stamped, but that's what it looks like to me with the Carrera branded tires. But I think Carrera do a really good job of replicating rims, and they do have a slight bit of dishing to them. Look really, really nice. And of course, the gold does set off the yellow. Looks really good. Let's work our way to the rear because I think this is where the most exciting part is, and that's this overhang of that rear spoiler. Take a look at that, and a nice little bit of finish in silver. Now, there is one thing I don't like about this car. Everything else I think looks incredible. Is this rear windshield. It looks a little bit unfinished. Now, let's have a look at some details that I do like about it. How it's been painted black on the sides. It does give it that bit more of realism. And it's got a nice bit of silver paint across the top, which follows just down the side of the car. I don't know if the real car had paint across the rear and the back, but unfortunately, as you can see, you can kind of see where it clips in, and it kind of takes away from the realism of the car. So I think that may have been done a little bit better, but if I'm being picky, that's the only thing I can pick about this car because everything else is absolutely huge and epic. Let's go around to the front, and of course the iconic BMW grille, which is hidden in that aggressive looking face. But what takes pride of place again is that front splitter. Take a look how big that is. It's huge. Absolutely epic. And of course, with a nice little cutout just here in the front. And let's take another look at those lights. They look really, really good. Onto the bonnet, we do have some indentations. They're not cutouts across the front. You might not be able to see it because it's yellow. There you go. They're not cutouts, but they do look quite good. And of course, we've got some painted, what looks like bonnet pins, 3 of them across the front. Let's zoom in and have a closer look at that. So there is a lot of detail on this car. Now there's one detail I didn't point out which is different to the driver's side. On the passenger side, we do have the side exhaust poking out just on that side step, which again is very, very wide. And of course, to finish it off, everything else is big but the side mirrors. And we do have these little side mirrors just sitting, which you might not be able to see on the side of the car. And that's the same driver's side and passenger. Let's even get a better look on the driver's side. There you go. Little dainty little mirror. So there you have it, a nice little close-up look at the BMW 320's livery. Let's do a quick teardown because we do know what these things look like inside. They're quite generic across the range. Then let's get this thing around my track. So I've completed the teardown, very, very simple to do, 4 screws only, but I won't spend too much time on the teardown because the cars in the Carrera range are very generic. They look very similar, so we'll just have a quick look on the inside of the shell itself. Very minimalistic cockpit, saves some space and room, and this thing does run lights, which I'll show you in a tick, but I think they've done a very good job finishing off the shell. Let's have a quick look underneath the chassis itself because there's some design cues I want to point out, and this bit of silver line here is to finish off the exhaust pipe detail on the above of the car. So I do like how a little bit of extra detail. Of course, we are running a rear magnet, inline motor, and this guide, I do like the Carrera guides. They are known for making a clicking noise on your track, but you can shave the front and rear down to try and minimize that. We do have the 4 points of contact with the braid, the fold over style, and of course this is analog, but here is our window if you were running a digital chip. Let's flip it upside down. Talking digital chip, we are running analog, but this can be replaced and plugged in by removing this whole circuitry board here and putting in a digital chip, which fits perfectly. And we do have another magnet, which is situated just in front of the inline motor. Now, gearing and pinion, I won't talk much about because it's quite standard across the range, but there is a quick look at the chassis itself. And of course, we're running active front and rear lights. Very cool. Rightio, the exciting part, let's get stuck into the 5 laps. I think this thing will go very well. Hit the comments before we hit the track. What lap time do you think I'll get? But let's do it. 5 laps, clean the tyres, clean the track. Let's see how quick we can go. So the verdict is in. How did Carrera's version of the BMW 320 Turbo perform around my track? Well, I completed 5 clean laps, and the quickest lap I got was an 8.99, which I think is bloody good for a stock slot car. Now, granted, this thing does have 2 decent sized magnets on the chassis, which would help its performance. Take those out and the car will perform differently. But I do test all these cars as they are from the factory, and I clean the tyres and I clean the track and off they go. So that was a very respectful time. Now this is a 2-part recommendation. Do I recommend this Carrera car? I really do. I like the model. I like the style of car that it is. The only difference I don't like about it is that rear windshield, which is an easy fix. But of course, I'm so happy that they've made a 320 Turbo. So yes, this model, I highly recommend it. It looks good. It goes good. Well done, Carrera. Do I recommend Carrera? It's a no-brainer. These cars run really well, as I've just proven, and they do make some interesting looking cars. So yes, you should add a Carrera car to your stable, and they run all day long. It's a no-brainer. But as always, at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram and YouTube, please support your local. I did purchase this from METRO HOBBIES here in Melbourne, Australia, because if we support our local, this hobby keeps on going. But as always, be safe, take care, ciao.